Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for a Do It with Donately webinar. Today, I am excited to chat about crafting the best donation forms for any event. I want to be courteous of everyone's time, so before we get started, a few things just to get out of the way. Please keep your mics muted today. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat box. I'll try and go over any questions if you have them during the call. And if I don't get a chance to get to everything, I will follow up and send an email responding. If we haven't already connected, my name is Sarah and I lead customer success here at Donately. Having come from the nonprofit sector myself, specifically within donor development, I really enjoy supporting organizations looking for new or refreshed ways to boost their online giving. So outside of today's webinar, if you ever want to connect regarding how your organization is currently using the Donately platform and if there are ways to better optimize the tools that are available to you, please feel free. I encourage you to reach out to me, send me an email, and we can set up a call. I'm always happy to answer any questions and even like brainstorm ideas. So why we're all here today. Over the next 25 or so minutes, we'll be covering the importance of customizing your donation forms and how to do it. I'll go over some of the more popular customizations that we've seen used, and we'll also build a custom form together. All right, so let's begin by understanding the importance of using custom forms and why you should create one if you haven't already done so. Donor data is more than just contact information, right? It allows organizations to track what's important to your donors, reach them with targeted messaging. It also helps development teams hone in on who's a good target for specific gifts, especially major gifts. It provides insight into which outreach efforts are working, and it also allows for segmenting supporters into specific groupings to maximize fundraising outcomes. So creating custom forms allows you to capture and track specific information you want to learn about your donors. It can include how they discovered you, other ways they want to support you, and even just gaining personalized information so that you have a way to create a more cultivated, stronger relationship with these donors. So a big question is, what are you asking your donors right now? Are you asking their birthday, if they want to join a newsletter, if they are interested in volunteering or sponsorship opportunities, where they work? Is their donation in memory or in honor of someone? How did they even hear about your organization? Getting responses to these and other questions can be incredibly valuable for understanding insights into your current and ideal donors. And let's take a side-by-side example of a custom form and a default form. So on the Donately platform, and this is just a basic kind of overview of like a quick, you can make your custom forms anything, but viewing these two forms, it's pretty easy to tell which one is capturing more data that could be relevant to an event or your organization as a whole. The information provided through these additional questions will allow you to gain and learn insights that you'll actually want to use in the future. Ways to acknowledge them, such as a written thank you note or an email on their birthday. If a donor is an ideal donor because they want to be kept up to date with newsletters, or they're interested in volunteering, or they have signed up to give on a reoccurring basis. Figuring out where to maximize outreach based on their preferred social media is also popular. And even asking like that for an address can add insight into how many of your supporters are locally based, because that can help gauge interest in in-person events. So those who are donating online will already be completing like an online donation form. So you shouldn't waste the perfect opportunity to use that to learn more about your donors and how to appeal to more people that are like them. So capturing donor data through custom fields in your forms is obviously great for marketing and outreach purposes, but it's not the only benefit of using custom fields and form customizations. Next, we're going to look at popular fundraising events and how to customize your forms in a way that allows you to align your call to action with the event itself. So there are tons of different events out there. I've just tried to pick the most popular ones that I've seen lately. Races and live events such as a workshop or a class. They're very popular now. Giving days on social media, like $5 Fridays or live fundraising asks that are streamed, are also very popular. And obviously creating monthly giving programs to hone in on your donor database as a whole are all very important things in terms of thinking about events or how to plan for them when looking at custom forms. So we're going to start with a sample run, walk, race sign up form that you can make using Donately. In this form example that I'm showing here, you can see that custom fields were obviously used in this form. We used radio buttons for t-shirt sizes, a text box, custom text box for donor comments. We used advanced text customizations for the donor's name heading, changing the donation amount name, and the donate button to say now register now. We've added a checkbox to help keep segmenting donors into who wants to be kept up to date, adding to a newsletter or event news updates. We've locked the donation amount so that donors can only give that specific amount. So if in this instance, a race, it's $45 to register for the race, you will not be getting donations for $5 or $10 as a sign up. You have complete flexibility and capability to freeze your donation amounts to turn them into more like a registration form. Let's see, another example I have is looking at these social media giving days or live stream asks. So in this instance, I use like a $5 Friday for a faux nonprofit organization. And you can see the custom fields used in this one are drop-down options for giving funnels. So I use like an animal rescue in this example. And so you might have new animals coming in every week. And so you are looking for funds to be raised on behalf of medical bills or feeding or, all these other various expenses. So instead of creating certain campaigns for each, you can actually select a drop down, which allows your donor to select which kind of giving funnel they want to give. And it segments it that way for you. Also, you can add a text header for your form. In this one, I use more advanced text customizations to change the donor pays fee wording so that it says I'm rounding up my donation so that Sarah's NPO gets my entire donation. I also set the reoccurring option to say Friday instead of recurring on a weekly basis, recurring every Friday, because this is a $5 Friday opportunity to give. I locked that donation amount again so that this is only for accepting $5 donations. In this instance, I'm not sure if you would want to lock it. Again, it's up to the event decision, but you might want people to specifically donate $5, so you have a preset button for that. But if someone wants to donate $500, by all means. So it's nice that you can have that option to lock your donation amount and toggle it on and off depending on the event. I also changed the button and form colors to match what a logo color might be. And then the next one that I wanted to show before we get into building one ourselves is just kind of going and showing you how to make a reoccurring giving program from a donation form. This one you can see is a multi-step form, which is also a custom field option. So you can add multiple steps, which take a more lengthy form where you're wanting a lot of information from your donors and condensing it into steps. So when someone pulls up their donation form, they're not taken back by how much information they might have to fill out in one sitting. It's able to be broken up into different screens. So it just seems like a little bit less and a more appealing way to capture more data from your donor. So I've used multi-step form options on here. I added a text header on my form, a custom text box if I wanted to add a birthday for a giving reason. I added a checkbox on this one as well for newsletters. I've set the giving to be reoccurring only. So instead of a one-time donation, this form is only going to be used for those that are giving on a monthly or an annual basis. And so then I was able to segment, you can segment donors based on how they complete this form. So you can see how many people would want to give on a monthly basis, become like a GEM membership, gives every month, or maybe join a birthday club and they are giving annually on their birthday. I also used advanced text customizations here to change the submit button to become a patron, changed the donor pays fee wording again to make it sound more about supporting my organization and having my full donation, a donor's full donation go there. And I also used it obviously for the wording. So you can see there's multiple ways to make forms custom and for various type of events that you have going on. But it's also, you can see a lot of people use similar text fields and custom fields for various different reasons. So with that being said, I also want to just kind of talk about, see, let me stop sharing for a second so I can see all of you, but I really just want you to see that you don't need to tie a Donately form to a specific fundraising campaign in order to have it be successful and bring in funds. Additionally, since you have the ability to embed donation forms on your website with a starter or team or enterprise subscription, you can have multiple forms published on your website throughout your website based on what page a supporter is visiting. So you could have a monthly giving program information page on your website and have that monthly giving form embedded there. You could have your annual capital fundraiser that is accruing donations all year and having a general donation form there. You can even have upcoming events pages where you have maybe a 5K or a fun run coming up and you want to share registration information on that. So there is a lot that you can do with how you're promoting events, how you're utilizing the donation forms, how you're customizing these forms. And so we've covered various reasons, obviously, on how to customize these forms for the most popular things that we've seen on Donately, but I would also really like to build a form together using some of these popular fields and options so that you feel confident next time around that you're creating a custom form, knowing that the fields that you're inputting and the data that you're trying to capture is correct and is successful. So I am going to share my screen once again and see, and we will build a form together. So let's see. All right. So we are now on our Donately dashboard, and I have already logged into our forms page. Whenever you want to create a new form, you would just go into your forms tab header here, and you would just come and click create new form up at the top. Our knowledge base and help center has some really great videos and written tutorials on how these customizations can be made within our forms. So I won't be going into too much detail with that, but for this exercise, we'll just go through the form builder tool and add and edit some of these custom fields. So what we are editing today is going to be a very custom event. And I already started to pre-build this, so I wouldn't take up too much time, but I decided to make this a multi-step form just to show some of the capabilities that you can do with this. And throughout here, we're just going to make a few changes quickly so that you can see how to do it. But on your multi-step form, you'll want to start in going into field and layout. In here, you have the ability to see all of your steps in one full sweep as you scroll down, but you can also preview and edit steps from your viewer, your desktop viewer, on the right-hand side. So you can actually kind of go in and pick and choose which ones you want to update at a time instead of doing everything at once, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to look at step 1 first. And what I want to do is I want to lock this donation amount. So I want it so that people have to give $10 and no more, no less for this specific event that we're hosting. So you're going to lock that donation field. And so $10 is the flat amount that you can make. I may also want to add payment method to include mobile wallet for those that are interested in supporting on their phone. I also might want to edit the reoccurring options. So let's think of this event taking place in a week or 2 weeks, and I have the option to donate once, or I can do a reoccurring option in various different frequencies. You can do it every month, every other month, annual, every day, a couple of times a year, all this kind of stuff. So you can really customize your options. So in this instance, I want donors to have a daily reoccurring option, and I want it to have a fixed stop date the day of my event, which we'll say is Valentine's Day. So that means if someone selects a reoccurring option, they will be donating $10 every day until February 14th on this form. And then I also want to update some custom fields in this form. So where you can make advanced text customizations is in the design and copy field. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see advanced text options. And in this one, we're going to look at editing the gift amount. So right now it says donation amount up at the top, but maybe I want that to say gift. So so what you do is you kind of just scroll down and you'll find out where the wording is. And so here I can see donation amount, and I'm going to update that to say gift amount. And you'll see up here that it automatically changed on my form. So I may also want to update this roundup thing. And so instead of it saying, so the processing fees are covered, I might want to word it a little bit differently. So say round up my donation. So let's see. So the blank organization receives my full gift. And then person receives my full gift. And then once you make that edit, it will edit it on your mobile preview here. So then you can like change this, edit it however you would like. So now I might also, I think this is pretty good for now, but I want to now move to step 2. So I'm going to go back to the fields and layout section, and I'm going to preview step 2. So in here, I had already pre-added these text field options, and you can see in step 2, I added a text field, and I want this text field to ask for, let's see, when is your birthday? And you can even add what you would like the field placeholder to have. So for this instance, I might say I want the birthday to be added in where it's month, day, year. And see how you'll see that that fills in right here to make it easier for your donor to fill that in the right format that you want it in. I also had created a radio button, and for this one, I might make this, let's just go with short sizes again. So then you'll want to create multiple options, and again, you can create as many as you want. I'll just do a small, a medium, and a large. And then these radio buttons are now available here on the screen. And then I might then want to change, I don't really see that many advanced text options I want to change here, but I did want to show you that even on the buttons you can change. So if we go back to design and copy and we go to advanced settings, under, I believe it's miscellaneous, you can find your buttons that are for moving forward and backwards. So right here, so navigation. So maybe I want to change this to back arrows and forward arrows. And now that's what the buttons look like. So I made these changes, and now let me see if I want to make any changes to the final step 3 of this form. So I have a checkbox that I had already added in here, and I think that is a checkbox about want to be added to our newsletter. And you can see that it updates right here with the checkbox. And maybe I want to go back and change another button. And that button I want to change for, let's see, Sandra Fiat. And I want to do give now instead of donate now. Donate, and I've already put here, so give. And you'll see that your form has updated even on the submit button. One last thing I wanted to show you was a post donation redirect, which is also a customization you can add to your form. In this instance, I think it is a great opportunity when you're doing an event that might have a registration or a 2-part registration. So for instance, a lot of times like runs or race days, they have a registration, and then there's also a waiver that someone usually needs to sign, or a liability type of thing. There can also be an event where there's a secondary survey that you want someone to take before about their donation, about a recurring membership, whatever the case is. You have the ability on your post donation form is when someone donates, you can redirect someone to a different URL, a different link. And by doing so, they'll still get their donation receipt. They will still have that sent to them, but it will take them back to a page that maybe you want them to visit. This, if you have your forms on pages and you want to redirect them to a social media site, if you want to direct them to another giving site, another sign up site, or a waiver site, you can create any type of URL. I just made a quick Google Doc that has, you can direct your donors anywhere and fill that in right here. And then when donors make their donation, once that donation is processed, the screen will redirect them right to where you sent them. So once you make all of these changes, you just will publish your form, and then your form is ready to go. So you can share it on social media. You have your link here. If you have one of our premium subscriptions, you can embed that custom form on your website. So there are definitely ways to very easily create custom forms and use them for your for whatever fits your needs with your event. And I will just stop sharing now. In case anyone has any questions, I don't see them any listed right now, but I hope this webinar was very helpful in at least going over why it's important to have custom fields in your forms, why it is important to capture that data, how to capture data that might be important not just for your event, but for future outreach efforts among your donors and your supporters. So I hope this was very helpful or informative, and maybe even spark some excitement around what custom forms can do for you. But I appreciate all of your time, and I am looking forward to seeing any forms that you create. I hope you have a great rest of your day.